I have gone through the time and trouble to memorize a verse of scripture for you tonight. That's not my main act, just a nice opener. And I'm not very good at memorization, so please be impressed or at least touched. Jesus wept.
Yes! Yes!
It's John 11:35. No, so Jamichael Greenwood has developed a very nice way of complimenting me. He calls me the smartest man at Central, which obviously he doesn't know the Holstrom twins. But Michael, I've got to break your heart that when I was a kid, I was not a very bright kid. I was actually kind of stupid. And I say that in a very humble kind of way. Okay, so I lived on a farm for about a year and a half of my life in northern Iowa, southeast Iowa, and my cousin didn't live very far away. And every time my cousin would come to visit, he would find some way to get me in trouble. And he was my older cousin. He was 2 years older than me, and so he was that older, wiser, cooler. I got the best idea of something to do. Yeah, but he always made me do it first, or yeah. So, one of the times we thought we had a barn, and there was all these cross beams and stuff, and we loved to climb up in the loft because it was empty at a certain time of the year. And we found some rope lying around. And Michael was like, Nate, we should go over there and we should tie this rope to the cross beams and then slide down it like an awesome action movie star. And I'm like, yeah! So we tie it to the cross beam. And he said, Nate, you go first. I want you to have this experience. And I slide down like a boss. Ow. Yeah, it was hemp rope. And it skinned my hands. It was terrible. And I'm like, Mike, my hands. He's like, oh, I'm not going to, let me slide. No, I'm not going to slide down. I'll climb down. Thanks, Mike. Well, another time we were playing in the basement. We were getting ready to climb into the dryer, which we were obviously told not to do. You never climb in the dryer. Well, we were getting ready to, but Mike's like, Nate, we got to make sure the parents aren't going to come down and find out. I'm sending you on a secret agent mission from like an action movie. You getting the trend here? You like action movies. And he's like, well, like a secret agent, you got to go find out if the parents are coming down. Well, you know, James Bond, I consider to be one of the worst secret agents of all time, because he always goes around saying, my name is James Bond, James Bond. Telling everybody exactly who he is. If you're a spy, people are not supposed to know who you are. But he goes on and tells them, I'm James Bond, yes, the world famous spy. But I'm not doing anything here, pay no attention. So I used to think he was the worst. He's the second worst spy. I have got to be the worst spy. I went upstairs, went to the room where all the parents are sitting. And I just stand there, because they told me not to interrupt or anything, so I'm like, and they say, Nate, you have something? What's going on? I said, are you guys coming downstairs anytime soon? And they said, no, why? Are you planning to do something that you're not supposed to down there? Yeah, and I just want to make sure you weren't going to catch us. And I heard Mike from down below, Nate! Sorry. Yeah, so another time, we got this brilliant idea. We had a cornfield, a massive cornfield. Actually, I'll tell you that one last. That was a little bit longer. Another time there was this huge pile of wood behind the shed. And the parents, of course, told us, don't climb on this pile of wood. You'll slip and fall, you'll break something, you'll break one of my stuff, whatever. He told us not to climb on the pile of wood. And Mike's like, we should go climb on that pile of wood. Wait, Nate, I'll go first. Make sure it's safe. I remember the rope incident. I don't want you to get hurt again. And I'm like, okay. So I'm waiting down below. He said, wait here, waiting down below. And my dad is sitting outside, I think they were having a barbecue or something like that, and he hears all these boards falling from behind the shed. And so he goes back there to see what's going on, and there's Nathan with a bloody face and boards all around me. He was like, as he was climbing, he was knocking the boards loose, and they just kept coming down and hit me in the face. He's like, Nate, move, move! And I was like, but he told me to wait here. Oh my God. I was not a quick kid. No, and the last one, he had the brilliant idea, Nate, we should go investigate the cornfield. It's the tall time of year. They're not harvesting yet. We should go out to the cornfield, which was obviously against the rules. I knew this, but I'm like, Mike's here. He's going to help us. And my sister was along with this one too, my older sister. And Mike's like, well, if you guys just stick with me, you'll get back safe. And I was, of course, the last in the line. It was an age order. There's Mike, and then there's Bex, and then myself. He's like, just don't leave me. Just follow me. We'll be back safe. I must have missed that part. I don't remember why. Actually, I do remember why. But anyway, I got separated from the group, and my sister eventually noticed that I was separated from the group, and so she stopped to look for me, not telling Mike. And so Mike's just trudging on through the aisle, because he knew if you stay in the one aisle and then you come back through that aisle, you're going to be fine. Well, he kept trudging on, and he looks back, and he's alone. He's like, what? Bex, Nate! And Rebecca's like, yeah! And I'm like, yeah! Way off in the distance. And he was like, sit down, I'm going to come find you. And Bex said, okay. And I said, all right. And so he went and found Bex pretty quickly. She stayed put. And he said, Nate! He said, yeah! He said, stay there! So he walked for a little while to about where he thought he heard my voice and like, Nate! Yeah. You see, I thought I was going to be like the coolest action hero again and actually find him. And I was like going to walk towards his voice. Well, you know what happens in a dense cornfield and walk toward each other's voices. You miss each other. And I went off the other direction. He's like, Nate! Yeah! Stay put! Okay! And he walks over there and I'm off the other way again. He's like, Nate! Sit down! Sit down! Okay! Are you sitting? Yeah! You're not going to get up? No! All right, now stay there. And he went over there, and of course I'm further away the next time. I just didn't get it. And then after about 4 or 5 times of going back and forth and missing each other, all of a sudden I hear my dad's voice. What are you doing? Oh, crud. And he had heard all this yelling back and forth, go figure. And he said, Nate! Screaming this from the edge of the cornfield. I said, yeah! And he said, are you sitting down? I said, I am now! He said, if you get up before I find you, I swear to everything that I believe in, I will scalp you. Now, I was in first grade. I didn't know what scalping meant, but it didn't sound very good. So I stayed put. Or at least I should have. About 20 minutes later, I'm scratching my head. Now, and we're sitting in timeout, and Mike is sitting there with me. He's like, man, why did you go and have to leave the group? I said, but I found a grasshopper. I was not the brightest kid.